Hey guys, August here, coming some more Lost Ark. And today I want to talk to you guys about the Glaivier class and just a basic build on how to actually make her and play her. This will be focusing on the Pinacle build. We won't be using control at all, so if you are trying to figure out how to play control Glaivier, this is not the video for you, but if you are looking to play Pinacle, this is the video for you, so stick around. I will leave down below timestamps as well because I will feature the Chaos build, which you have now is playing in the background, and then as well the single target Pinacle build for the raid build. Anyway, let's hop on straight out into it now, shall we? So, I am here by the training dummy. I am in the Pinacle build. As you can see, we'll go over engravings first of all. We do have Pinacle, which being the most important to get as your first engraving. Your second engraving would either be Keen Blunt or Master of Ambush. Totally up to you. Master of Ambush is back attack damage. I think it's plus 45% at max level. So completely up to you. It actually is a little bit better, more beneficial than Keen Blunt weapon in the early fights because there won't be a lot of movement and it's easy to get the back attacks, which you should be going for most of the time. So Pinacle, Master of Ambush, and then Keen Blunt Weapon and Grudge and Curse Stole are both flat damage. They do have negatives as well. And then let's actually speak about the stats you will need. You will need Specialization as your main stat and then Swiftness as your secondary stat in your combat stats. The reason being is because how Ark Glaivier works is she has these two stances. As you can see down below, we press Z to swap stances and that actually fills up the gauge. If I swap now, you can see I need to fill up that gauge to swap over and you actually get a buff, the Pinacle buff, which is from your engraving. So that gets higher and does more damage and stuff, more buffs with the Pinacle one. So that's the whole playstyle of Glaivier, is to build up, use skills, build up your bar, and then switch over to the other stance and then get the buff. Depending on how much you build up, you'll actually get the different levels of the Pinacle. Gems, what you do actually want to go for. I do have a max roll guide handy as always, because I don't have these gems myself. It's my ult and I'm still gearing up. We do have attack gems. You want to focus on these from top to bottom. These are all the ones you want to get primarily, and then the cooldown gems the same thing. It's pretty much basically the same, and those are the gems you would be going for. I will leave this max roll guide linked down below because it's very informative to just read through it if you're trying to know the nitty gritty about Glaivier. I'm just trying to get you guys going, and we will make an in-depth guide later on. So this is how you actually just play around and go with it. You just have to do all your skills to build up meter, and you see it builds up really fast because I have a crazy amount of specialization right now, but it normally won't build up that fast depending on your gear. So you'll rotate through your skills and stuff. And then on this skill, actually, your Shackling Blue Dragon, you want to use that before you switch over to your other stance because that puts a debuff on the boss. So you use your buffs and then put a debuff and you switch over and you actually want to do your hardest hitting ability, which is the Great Horn. This one, another charge, and then the jump. And you should be full meter by then, depending on your specialization. And you just swap on back and do it again. And you just rotate through your skills like that, depending on what you need. See, keeping that D for last as you swap over, doing all your big hitters, and then obviously moving as well when you have to for boss mechanics. And so we are full again, so we go back, rotate through, try and keep that D. See, if I had cooldown gems, D would have been perfect timing right now. We wait for the D, hit D, we go back on over, and also I don't have cooldown on the major skill, the red skill. And that's pretty much all there is to playing Glaivier. Now let's actually speak about the skills and the tripods you will be using in this build. I will have the max roll as well linked below, like I said, and if you do scroll on down to where the raid skills are, you can actually see the skills and the tripods they use and the ruins on everything. As well, I want to show you a little trick of yours here. It says 296 points in the top. That means skill points. If you do scroll this, move this wheel around, it actually increases or decreases the points. So depending on how many skill points you have, you just move this around to see which skills to actually prioritize. As well with the flurry and the focus, if you go to focus, it will show you which skills you want to prioritize with how many skill points you have. And as you can see, I have around 315, I believe. So I'm going to be using this one over here. This is what I'm actually using. Let's hop on in game and I'll speak about all the skills. So let's cover all the blue skills first of all. We're using Chain Slash, and a lot of these you can actually change out depending on what you want to use. The most important blue one actually being the Shackling Blue Dragon, because this will increase or decrease the boss's crit resistance, so technically increasing your crit chance on the boss after you use the skill. So you will be using that skill and then swapping over to your flurry stance to actually do all the damage, or your focus stance, I mean with your spear, since your spear does all of your damage. And you see there I have 3 of the level 10 skills all in the spear stance because that does the most damage. So that one being the most important in the blue stance, and then this one as well, the Raging Dragon Slash, does quite a bit of damage, builds up a bit of meter for you. So let's actually just speak about all of these. These are all mainly mobility. So Chain Slash, just mobility with swoop. You can change that for whatever you want. Flash Kick again, just mobility with excellent mobility, and Volt as well, excellent mobility. On the max roll guide, there is actually quite a few skills. I speak about each skill in depth for whichever one you want to swap out and what they can suggest. But honestly, whatever you want over here, the last few ones that I will suggest that you do keep is these ones that are actually leveled up above 4, since the level 4 skills are just for mobility. So Half Moon Slash is Flurry Expertise, we are using that, and Weak Point Detection, just increasing the damage on it, and Single Target Damage. So that's just flat up increased damage on both of those, with Conviction and Gale Wind. All these runes are in the max roll guide as well, so follow on through with that as well. Then we got Wheel of Blades. We're using that with Magic Control, which reduces the MP and Weak Point Detection, increasing boss damage with Judgment. So Conviction and Judgment, that is how you actually proc it over there with these two skills. So those two are, that's why I say they're important, as well with Raging Dragon Slash, just for increased damage. And we scroll on down a bit, we get on down to Cutting Wind, just another quick damage, quick prep with Quickness. It's just a quick little AoE swipe in front of you. It's just free damage, pretty much really fast as well, not much of an animation lock. And then we are moving on to Shackling Blue Dragon. This is the most important blue skill, like I said before. We're using Quick Prep Blitz with Critical Spear. Critical Spear being the reason why it's so important for you. Make sure you always have that one and use it just before you switch over to your other stance. So let's speak about Spear stance. Now these two are really fillers. If you actually are in red stance early on and you can't build up enough gauge with these other skills, then you will use these two as a filler as well. You don't have any skill points to level them up. Alright, now. And then the rotation, how you actually do this. Red Dragon's Horn being your most important skill to hit first, does the most damage for you. You want to have Firepower Control, Spear of Destruction, and Weak Point Detection. Just increases all the damage on this and always inflicts crit damage. And that increases the meter gain you actually get from it. So it increases that, makes it a little bit easier to build up into the red one, because you only have very limited skills in your red stance. And then Dragon Scale Defense is actually like a parry, so not really useful. You can use it if you want to, but it's very situational. It does give you super armor as well, but yeah, it is pretty situational parry type thing that you gotta use, and you gotta time it really well. But it is there if you need it for an oh shit moment. It is there. Then Starfall Pounce is another big hitter. It's got Weak Point Detection, Quick Prep, and Powerful Finish, increasing the damage. And then we do have Thrust of Destruction. This is a casting skill with all the points that we do have. Weak Point Detection, Startup Thrust, increases your crit rate. And then also Air Ripping Thrust changes to charge mode when fully charged and increases damage by 50% and crit rate by 50%. So as you can see, we do a lot of damage in the red version of everything. In the Flurry stance, or no, that's the Focus stance, my bad. Flurry stance is and now let's quickly go over the Chaos build as well. So the Chaos build is pretty much all focused on the blue side of things, because the blue side of things is where you get all your AoE from. Your engravings and gems and your combat stats, you can leave that exactly the same as your raid build. You don't really have to change it. I mean your raid build, not your raid build. So for Chaos Dungeon, it really doesn't matter. The only thing that does matter is actually changing your skills around. And you can actually have a skill save set like this. We have 1 and 2. And then you can name it as well, Chaos and your raid build. I can't change right now because we're in the training grounds. But yeah, just save that for your different builds. So let's speak about the skills real quick. So we do have Chain Slash as well, just for mobility with Swoop. We got Flash Kick again, excellent mobility. And then Bolt, no, we're using Half Moon Slash with Flurry Expertise, Final Decision, and Blade of Tornadoes. That is actually like it summons a tornado. But you want to say you're Shackling Blue Dragon, just as before with the raid build. Do that, so it debuffs everything, and then you actually chuck up your tornado. And then our S is a big AoE that charges up, actually with a rune and puts a shield on you, so that's really nice. And we do have Raging Dragon Slash. And this actually does an AoE twice. You got to hit it twice because it is a combo with the skill points we do have. We'll go back and show you guys in a second, just speaking about the skills. And that will actually freeze everything around you. And then as well with Wind Splitter, just an AoE around you again. You have to hit it twice. Doesn't freeze everything, but it does a lot of damage. So you'll pretty much just be rotating through all of these. And then you'll be dropping your debuff with your tornado. Freeze everything, and this freeze does actually work on the mini bosses, so it's really useful. And some more AoE, just some mobility, but everything else is just used for AoE. And then in your red stance, we do actually have the Red Dragon's Horn maxed out, because it is such a hard hitting skill. If you want to hit that, obviously don't fail it like I did. But yeah, that, and I think this is the other one we level up as well. Let's head on over to skills real quick. We scroll down, yeah, Starfall Pounce. You want to try and get that to 7, depending on how many skill points you have. And then you get the Firepower Control just to increase your meter, so you can actually build up meter and go back to blue. But when you're doing chaos dungeons, you could really just stay in blue the whole time. It's very easy to do it all and just spam all through your AoE for doing the chaos dungeons. Like I said, it's just a quick chaos build, nothing to it. You can use whatever you want, but those skills are really nice. Just use all the AoE skills, that one, your Raging Dragon Slash, your Wind Splitter, and also Half Moon Slash along with Cutting Wind. Those 4 together do a lot of AoE damage, and you can pretty much rotate between them and clear out the chaos dungeon super quick. Anyway, that was quite a long video. It's a basic video. I will make an in-depth video later on once I actually know and understand Glaivier to its best. Right now I'm just learning like you guys, so I hope this helps you guys learn like me. And if you know better stuff than I do, check it out in the comments below. Anything is welcome. Thank you guys so much for the support, and if this video did help you guys at all, please drop a like and a subscribe. It helps me out so much, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Orky saying out.
Run free and dive into the sky. Hear the